Let's begin with the clap. The clap by President Trump as Putin is approaching him. What do you make of the clap?
Michael, this is a moment. Remember, when Trump gets to that carpet there, he's waiting. He's in the authority position. By using that clap, he's taking some of the authority out of the moment, going from host into receiver. He offers a rapport and opportunity to lighten the moment through that clap. It's followed by a smile as he puts his hand out in this very open palm gesture. It's an interesting hand move that he does in order to clap. In that particular, so the clap just takes some of the intensity out of the moment.
And we showed the handshake as well. The handshake, the warm greeting between them. By the way, with regard to the clap, I hear a lot of criticism like, why would he clap for Putin? I don't have your expertise, but I took that as, it's like, hey, I'm happy you're here. Like Chris Ulrich, I'm happy you're on my show today. All right, we're going to do this.
Yeah, then keep in mind, a clap moment like this, we'll see Tonight Show hosts and other folks who do this. It's like, let's get ready to do this. The handshake that follows that is a moment of opportunity for them to connect.
Look, I'm not a big fan of body language experts. People can read anything into movements and body language, but a few of these people know what they're saying, because there are things that we do as humans that are universal. And I think I get what he's saying. It's almost like chop chop, chop chop. Let's get this going. You're late, maybe.
And that handshake, Michael, lasts for 10 seconds as they build rapport. They're smiling at each other. They're making eye contact as they're looking at each other. This is a moment of rapport building and parity. And even in those moments, keep in mind, Michael, the handshake is a negotiation, an ongoing signal for power. Here, Trump shows deference, followed by pulling the hand in and using these touch gestures to reestablish dominance as they walk down, showing he's in control, he's in command.
This is not their first rodeo.
Correct.
Clearly, each of them thought in advance. Am I going to smile? What do I want to transmit? It's the farthest thing from a candid moment, that you're ever going to find. All right, we have some behind the scenes footage. Can we go to the behind the scenes footage and have Chris Ulrich analyze what he sees in this? Hopefully you've seen it or can watch it now. Tell me what you see.
All right, so this doesn't look like somebody who is being steamrolled. He looks like a host who is holding court. Hey there, quick pause to share something exciting. You may not know this, but I went from struggling with a stutter to building a YouTube channel with millions of views, over 10,500 subscribers, and counting. Do you want to create your own content but are unsure how to start? Watch my content creation playlist. It shows up at the end of this video. You won't find it anywhere else. I'll share my tools, tips, and strategies to help you grow with lessons from beginner to advanced. Also, subscribe, like, and share to show your support for the channel. Now, back to the video with his guests. He's having a conversation, but it doesn't look like he's not in control. Let me know if you agree in the chat or in the comment section.
I'm looking at it now, Michael. It is Trump in the middle here. It's an ongoing conversation. Now, you got to frame yourself to fame yourself, we always see. There's Trump in the middle, kind of holding court. He's talking to the president. He's talking to the advisor. And him being in the middle, it's cordial. It's kind. They're open. They're not in each other's faces. Even the handshake moment is like a follow-up moment. They also know probably the cameras are on them. And you're right, that initial handshake is a climax moment of that engagement. Like it's staged, and here it's a little more behind the scenes. But even here, Trump does his effort here where he'll pat the other person's hand. It's a dominance gesture. It's like he's in control, he's in command. That is the narrative that they're looking for in this ongoing this.
Yeah, so we get the idea. Clearly, the body language expert says he's in control. A few people in the chat, at least one person who I read their chat, said that yes, Trump was steamrolled. It was definitely obvious he was steamrolled. And sometimes I wonder if people just want to they want to push some narrative that fits their ideology. You're looking at two world leaders trying to broker a peace deal. Like I said, this isn't the United States trying to tell the Congo to behave themselves. They are not trying to tell India and Pakistan to sit down and go to their rooms or get up or go to their rooms and stop fighting. This isn't that situation. To understand this dynamic, you need to understand the players in the game. And this was just Trump trying to ease Putin back to the negotiating table. They've been talking. Trump was sounding very impatient last week. And then this happens. It shows that there's some movement towards peace. Personally, I think it's a good idea for these conversations to happen. Because like I said, we're too far away from the conflict. We're not the ones being woken up at night, hearing loud explosions coming closer and closer and closer to where we live. We're not the ones being displaced. We're not the ones with our countries completely destroyed. So rooting for Trump to fail at these negotiations is bad faith, in my opinion. So the chat, as usual, is very interesting. The chat is very interesting. So we're going to look at the conversations. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I Love American News says Trump is in charge. Well, there's a still of Trump. Political says CNN accidentally hired a body language expert who tells the truth instead of the narrative, and their HR department is in panic mode. Find me an expert who follows the script. Let's find something else. Okay, but Jackie Heinrich of Fox told us that Trump got steamrolled because Putin spoke first. So I reacted and reviewed that report during the last live stream, and one of the things that struck me about that report was what she said about them waiting for President Trump and Putin to come in to give a press conference, and they didn't have their headsets ready for when Putin would be speaking. You're expected to have those handy, so they appeared to not be prepared to do their job. That's my own opinion, because if you're expecting two people to come to give a press conference, is it written in stone that the president of the United States has to speak first? Yes, he does do that regularly, but is it a requirement that President Trump speak first? So let me know in the chat or in the comment section if that is a requirement, because I'm not sure it is. I think maybe President Trump wanted him to speak first as an act of good faith, to be a good host, say, hey, go ahead and speak first, and if they didn't, if they weren't prepared to immediately put in the headsets to hear the interpreter, that was on them. I don't think it was on President Trump, in my opinion. So flipping it to saying that, he spoke first, that means he's in the alpha position. There was no indication that President Trump was trying to speak first, and then Vladimir Putin talked over him and took over the conversation. So how did they come to that conclusion that President Trump was being steamrolled? They came out from a meeting, a lengthy meeting, and then stepped in front of the mic. Clearly, President Trump had told him, you're going to go first, before they got on the podium. So it's a very strange thing to see them, make those arguments. No body language expert is needed. Even a kid in grade school could look at the video and tell you what's going on. The big guy looks and acts like he's the boss. That's from Spicy Patriots. Now, White House X-Ray, we got a comment from them last time, and we're going to see what they say. I haven't read this, so I'm going to see what they say and see if they are being fair, because last time I called them out about them not doing the same thing with when their people were in office. So let's read this. White House X-Ray said, Command, Trump sat in Anchorage like a GPS on mute, palm up, Putin staring, and the route to a ceasefire stuck on recalculating, laughing emoji. Definitely somebody who has major TDS issues. Look, when people, so here's one of those people who have this way of interpreting things to suit their narratives. So Patty Ann Wood said the August 15 palm up handshake signaled surrender. President Trump shakes hands that way all the time. He shakes hands that way all the time. Look at all of his interactions. He does the palm up handshake. He grips and then he pulls you in. If you go back and look at all of the handshakes, that's his signature handshake. You put your hand in his palm, he grips, and then he pulls you in. That's his signature. So Patty Ann Wood should go and check her credentials as a body language expert. White House X-Ray, you're officially labeled as the go-to TDS commenter. Because every time I see you, I'm going to know it's a TDS, reaction. All right. Doge AI. Is that an AI? Nah, okay, let's just read it. President Trump's Alaska summit with Putin wasn't about theatrics. It was about leveraging U.S. strength to force real negotiations. Yep, I think so. You bring them to home court, okay, show of strength. And then, Alaska is as middle ground as you can get between Russia, between Moscow and Washington. So they had to meet, okay? Remember, you're not dealing with India and Pakistan here. Okay. Okay, I'm not reading that. All right. Anchor Pandev says, if body language alone defines being in command, he's asking Grok, does it matter how actual policy decisions affect global security? Can gestures outweigh real-world consequences of appeasing authoritarian leaders or undermining allies? Who truly benefits from performative displays of this guy is another TDS individual. I don't want to read because I'm sure that he will definitely get ratioed in the comment section. All right, that's it for the comments. Why didn't they analyze Biden's movements? Oh, that's another question. Yeah. Why didn't they analyze Biden's movements? Why didn't, what's her name? Patty Ann Wood analyze the falling up the stairs? Okay. Ask her that question. It's interesting when you see this double standard play out in the mainstream, in mainstream media. It's double standards. They wouldn't do the same thing to Biden, but they would definitely bring out the microscope on every single thing that Trump does. He shakes with his palm up, and they dig up someone who says that that's a show of submission. That is or a show of surrender. That is just asinine.